Mr. Timer, before I start, can you please let me know how long I have to speak?
You have 9 minutes.
Okay, is that green on 7, is it?
Yes.
You know what, no, thank you very much, but I would really just like to take my hat off to HOD. It's been a month, over a month since I've been to HOD. Last meeting I came to was in December. So I've come in here with almost like fresh eyes. And boy, what a revelation this meeting has been. And I know that behind the scenes, in the committee and the management committee, there have been huge discussions about the direction the club is going, the success of it, the number of members that we have, and should we be splitting into 2 clubs, should we be extending what we're doing now? And I'll say that the results of having 50 members have resulted really, and all these talks going on, have really truly resulted in a paradigm shift. I walked in, greeted with a great smile from Bobby as the greeter, doing exactly what it says on the tin. Thank you very much. The meeting room, if you look around you, is set up. Sina, as Sergeant at Arms, comes in early, sets all the chairs out, puts everything up, puts the ribbons up, puts the banner up, which we've covered with the flip chart, which I just would recommend to keep out of the way and just bring it in when you need it. And decorated, most innovatively, with clip-ons.
Yeah, they have taken it out. Yeah.
Oh, so they had a practical purpose.
Yes. Right.
But that's very good. But again, it broke up just the plain wall. All those little bits help. Madam Toastmaster, Madam President, and everybody here, I'd like to just talk about the opening of the club from our President, Jill Ornstein. She explained about club business and what was going to happen next time. Very well explained. It said about the speeches, how they were going to be changed, and the fact that she was going to actually go out and contact all the members that haven't come and allot things, allot speeches and roles to them. So that means that gives them a chance to actually respond, so you either know that they're going to come or they're not going to come, and they're not just hanging in the balance. And just very gently, evenly, and very quietly got the meeting off to a great start. One recommendation. Only one. And this is just a personal thing. I just don't want to hear any more about Virgin Toastmasters. Please, no.
There's a gap between Virgin and Toastmasters.
Absolutely. And just one recommendation for whoever's working the technology. We were distracted by the instructions as to how to connect the projector for most of the first half. So if we could work out how to switch the thing off when we're not using it, it would be really helpful. And now, of course, on to Steffi, our wonderful Toastmaster of the evening. I would not have thought that this was your first time. And you're very obviously used to standing in front of a crowd and you revel. And I think I find that as Toastmasters come in 2 varieties. Those who hate public speaking and just have to come here to be coaxed up and to get going. And those of us who love it and just want an opportunity to practice it, get even better and develop our skills. And Steffi is very much, I think, in that model. I don't recall you sort of nervously creeping up on stage. I loved your opening and those throbbing tendrils of words. An amazing and great opportunity. But she did actually say that. I'm not just making it up. Gave out the domestics about where to use the toilet and the fire alarm and switching off the phones. And all with such great enthusiasm. She was standing there with a proud and happy heart. And you even congratulated Jill on winning the Tall Tales competition, which was really nice. So bringing the HOD into the wider world of Toastmasters. And as you introduced Sina, talking of the value of time, and those examples of the different values of time were very precise, all like surgeon-like, where they hit the spot. They were excellent. And you introduced, one thing a lot of people don't do, you introduced the evaluation forms right at the beginning, which was very helpful, and getting us to clap. One of the most difficult things, I think, is keeping that energy going throughout the whole meeting. So every time somebody comes up, you need to be cheerleading the clapping there, which you did a lot of the time, but sometimes it didn't. That's just a little recommendation. And just one other little recommendation. When you're introducing people, if you know a little bit about them, just introduce, rather than just the name and coming up, but then being a Toastmaster for several years, got a competent communicator or distinguished Toastmaster, just to set them in context. But otherwise than that, throughout the whole meeting, almost you're just like I don't know how, I can't find the words to describe it. The way that your presence you just appeared and disappeared. And when you weren't on, you weren't the centre of attention. When you were on, you were there and you kept the meeting moving on very swiftly and very efficiently. Excellent. Oh, and of course, I can't finish without mentioning about Bonnie's and standing and sitting. That was very nice, just because it just moved the energy around the room a little bit. Excellent. Sina,
Yes.
as timekeeper and sergeant at arms, innovative and a constant breakthrough, and changing the paradigm, as Steffi described you, constantly changing the paradigm. And and bringing together the content and the presentation in two separate formats, and then bringing them together was masterly, I must say. Very clear flip chart and a great description of the role. And well, and the hat wiggle and shoot is something wonderful to behold. My recommendation to you, let's do it better. That's very specific.
Yeah, okay.
Manish, as our counter.
I'll read you first.
I'll be back in a minute. I've got it looked here. Monster usage of unnecessary words and sounds. Well, you talked about the usage of unnecessary words and sounds in some way, which, and as has been already noted, stage presence is excellent. Very steady. You nod, just one tiny recommendation. At the end of your introduction, you nodded and said thank you. Rather than do that, just stop. Madam Toastmaster, very elegant exit. Don't need to thank you. Thank us. Dennis as grammarian. Some grammarians, I have to say, are guilty of straying slightly into general evaluator territory. To say you did not stray into the territory, you leapt in with both feet, way over into it. Just focus on the words and the grammar and all the lovely superlatives which you use, which are very nice. They'd be long for another time. Okay, the most important thing now, the evaluators, because I'm just so taken by my own eloquence, I can't stop. Okay. Niti, great introduction, I think superb. Niti succinctly introduced herself and the role and claimed the floor, and you read the objectives and the time all very efficiently, very clearly, and gave the title. I just have one recommendation. I didn't understand your recommendation, which you said to her, she finished with a quote. And then she said, if she brings the parts together, it would be more efficient. You got it. As long as you got it, that's fine. Thank you very much. That's well done. Denise, well done, because you introduced it with the third speech, and when you came back on, you introduced it said correctly as the fourth speech. And you said she covered the objectives. My recommendation there is you should have taken I don't know if you were able in the break to actually look up the objectives, because you didn't then come back and say what the objectives for the fourth speech were.
Okay.
Yeah, but you mentioned about having a beginning, a body conclusion, and a good slides, and you gave recommendations about talking slower and louder, generally very good. Jinto, I love Jinto's evaluation. No notes, talking about, or very surreptitious use of notes. And you gave I just have to say, you have a beautiful anecdote about the British Empire, and it slid so nicely into the story of Ulysses, Odysseus, and about his conquest. And that was a beautiful usage. And talking about iambic pentameter, and very clear, you know all about iambic pentameter, not. Which I think most of us probably don't. I only know about iambic pentameter, it's what Shakespeare used. Beautiful examples of recommendations, clear, specific, not only saying what the recommendations were, but how they could be improved. Elsa, our introduction, very measured, gave a great explanation of Tony's objectives, and I think you had a very difficult job, and you handled it with great aplomb, because the objectives were quite at odds with his speech, and you did that very well. The only recommendation I have is you ran out of time, so you didn't have a summary at the end of your thing. Mike, table topics. That was very exciting. I have to say thank you very much. Very interesting, intelligent, very challenging, very precisely and clearly done, explained. So that with every limit and every section clearly demarked, and with a bit of instruction to each table topics person. It's quite a tall order to do put in three anecdotes in that time, but it was a good challenge. Just one recommendation: please stop pacing. Yes, either stand and deliver, or. Jill, thank you. You thanked Mike for his table topics. And you gave a commendation and a recommendation for everybody. Very gentle, very funny, very warm. And Manish is our painter, I think I've covered. Genesis Grammarian, I think I've covered. You've got some good points, but again, watch the territory. I think I've covered everybody. Even though I overran, and time is so important, and I apologise, but not very much.
So difficult, and thank you, David, for managing it so gracefully. Please give a round of applause. I would like to thank each and everyone who is present here for having made this evening a most memorable one in whatever way you have contributed to this special meeting of Toastmasters. Now we go to the part, get your cameras, get your phones ready, because we are going to have a few stars for today, who is the best speakers, and the best speaker for the day is Joe.